and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? He had sweat-resistant black paint airbrushed on his chest and was told the only thing that will move it is body oils. Why did this man end the night with almost all of it rubbed off and a handprint smeared?
Yo, that's criminal activity.
8 years ago, I got into it with a bunch of other women in a fan group on Facebook because I dared argue that no one should lick the attractive male author's face during a book signing.
Girl, me too. Taylor Rose is a creator on the internet. Taylor Rose is a creator, and they covered Sinners and Stardust, a dark romance book convention. My overall position on written smut is you have to work to give me a fuck, and it's going to be on a per book basis. That's really what it is. I've read written smut. It doesn't really do it for me. I've never gotten titillated, I believe. Titillated is how you say it. But, I've been on vacations and stuff and ran out of my own books and been like, give me that fucking thing to one of my lady cousins and just read, I don't know. And everybody's a secret angel and a vampire and they've all got to get over it, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But there's like porn in their books, but it's like, it's low level. Like even some of the ladies all here talk about like, no, this is like really nasty. And then I read it and I'm like, before they passed the law, I could just get on Pornhub. You know what I'm saying? And like, if it was describing a Pornhub video and then what's happened in this book is lightweight. But if it's doing it for you and it seems like, and you want to maintain the vibe of feeling like that's very transgressive, that's your thing. And I respect that. Books are nothing compared to actual people fucking because the people in the books aren't real. I really have to hammer that home to you. So anything that happens in a book that's like untoward, I don't care anywhere near as much because they aren't real. Now, if people are taking lessons from that book and turning it into something else, that is what is to be concerned about. But the presence of bad writing on this earth is usually nothing to write home about aside from making fun of it and talking about why it's bad and how it could be better type stuff. I don't know a single fucking woman in my life that is like, these books are giving women, they're bad for women. Except for on TikTok, you can find them by the score. And they got a lot of guys with wraparound glasses and nondescript baseball hats on, cheering them on, okay? Which is what it is. I'm not saying that this person that's going to talk about this is that, by the way, either. Or that, like, hey, ladies, make your fucking money. It is what it is. I get it. But I want to say, there's definitely a lot of conversation that's going to be happening in this sphere because that mentality is spreading out to misogynists like Vosh and Papa Gut, who are trying to pretend that these porno books are equivalent to like, I don't know, like a literal sex abuse rampant porno set.
2025 has not been a good year for bookish events. And unfortunately, Sinners and Stardust really wasn't any different. But this time, it wasn't the convention's fault. My name is Taylor Rose, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything reading and writing. Today, we're talking about Sinners and Stardust, a dark romance convention. This convention seems to move around, but the one we're talking about took place August 15th to 17th in Boston, Massachusetts. Just personally going off of their...
Okay. I'm going to tell you guys something about con culture real quick. Thank you. Sorry. Let me hop in here. I'm not a con guy for a lot of other types, but I've been to a bunch of conventions and I bought tables at them. So conventions come in about 3 striations, right? Saying convention makes you think of anything. Usually people that don't go will hear convention and they'll go like, oh, like E3 or Comic-Con. No, motherfucker. No. The vast majority of conventions are 1 to 2 ballroom, maybe 20 to 50 tables tops with a few side rooms. And they can vary wildly. I've been to good ones and bad ones. A convention existing at all does not mean it's going to be a good convention. And a convention not being big doesn't mean it's going to be bad. One of the things you should always watch out for are roaming conventions. Roaming conventions have deep sus energy to them. It's not to say that these people are bad because they have a roaming convention or all roaming conventions are bad, but they tend to be organized underneath some sort of umbrella and they tend to have a sort of secondary purpose. So But ultimately, the point is to go and meet people that have a similar interest in you, and then peruse shopping areas where people offer, like, hey, you can buy this thing from me, and then also to meet people of note in that area, maybe an author or an actor, and finally to see like previews and premieres of content relative to that. So like if it's a book convention, I saw JD Vance reading from Hillbilly Elegy 4 years, I think, before he ever ran for office. Okay. So like I saw JD Vance literally at the West Virginia Book Festival reading from Hillbilly Elegy to a crowd full of gray hairs who voted him in and then died of COVID probably. So that's what happens. Movie conventions, you'll see previews of movies. Obviously everybody's about Comic-Con. You get to see all the fucking upcoming Marvel shit that's getting farted out in Once Upon a Time, E3, with all the previews for upcoming video games and opportunities to play demos and stuff.
People in general seem to have a positive opinion of this convention as well. It seems to be an event that is well run, well organized, and isn't a scam. But unfortunately, this weekend didn't quite go as planned.
Okay, so she knows how to grade
a
stuff.
pretty big name in the dark romance scene. She is the author of the Haunting Adeline duology, which...
If you could make that a little bit bigger. H.D. Carlton author. I think one of the saddest parts is a lot more was done and said to him, including someone fucking with his phone. He had it to a few people to take pictures and restricting several authors' accounts on IG, including mine. Santana's and Bryn's, along with literally dragging him around to take pictures and asking him what hotel he's staying in. He lied and said it was the same hotel as the event, but it was not, which is why the AirTag tracking him downtown into his room is terrifying. Oh shit, dude, that's actually fucking psychotic.
Personally, that's not to my taste, but she seems to have kind of a cult following in the dark romance community. She posted after returning from the event screenshots from her Instagram, and in this post she explains some pretty terrible things that went down at Sinners and Stardust. All right, y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know a good friend of mine, Animus, who is also Ethereal Treason. He has attended a signing of mine in the past, and obviously is a music artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent? Or to put your hands in his waistband, or down his pants, or touch his personal areas? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman, despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't, and that, this shit is fiction? Trash talk my books to him and try to get him to join in? And then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? He had sweat-resistant black paint airbrushed on his chest and was told the only thing that will move it is body oils. Why did this man end the night with almost all of it rubbed off and a handprint smeared?
Yo, that's criminal activity. Understand, there is nothing about any book I've ever seen, especially these porno books for these ladies, that would turn a normal person into a pervert who violates consent and space like this. That is those women or individuals doing it because they are fucked up people. This has nothing to do with the convention. I'm telling you right now. Well, maybe something to do with the convention if they didn't do anything about it, but this has nothing to do with the artists or the work. If anyone tries to plug it as that, you're out of your fucking mind. This is those people, because these kind of people were doing this shit at anime conventions in 2003. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same people doing it in 2023, and they just moved on to another fandom because it's not ready for them. Some people really do just get into fandoms and they get into content because they've been booted from other fandoms and they want to parasite their way into a place where they can do the shit that they used to do here.
Because he was not the only one disrespected at this event by a long shot. So many authors are coming out about people crossing boundaries in a multitude of ways. I've had to have this conversation before about asking my husband gross personal questions, so why are we taking it a step further and assaulting people now? I'm genuinely shocked that as women or women presenting, some of y'all thought it was okay to act this way. And as someone who brought him into this space, I feel responsible for him, and I'm so sad that some of my own readers were a part of this behavior. If this was you, please learn basic respect, boundaries, and how to ask for consent. Treat others the way you would want to be treated by a strange man. And for the love of God, please do not ever come near me in public. And then really tiny, it's the fencing emoji. So she reposted this message from her Instagram to Threads with an additional message. I think one of the saddest parts is a lot more was done and said to him, including someone messing with his phone. He handed it to a few people.
You didn't have to explain this. You could have moved on. I could not ever have just mentioned that and walked away.
To take pictures and restricting several authors' accounts on Instagram, including mine, Santana's, and Brent's, along with literally dragging him around to take pictures and asking him what hotel he's staying in. He lied and said it was the same hotel as the event, but it was not, which is why the AirTag tracking him downtown into his room was terrifying. That is absolutely insane. Another attendee of the event posted, unfortunately, the actions of some may force me to put a pause to attending future events so that I can prioritize the safety of my assistants. Thank you, HD Carlton, for being our voice. So you can see that this is a picture of Animus, the man who was assaulted, as well as the other author. KL Albayati responded, as someone who's been to conventions and expos since 2007, I'm surprised, but not surprised, that this kind of behavior has made its way into the bookish community. I've heard horror stories of people breaching physical and social boundaries with celebrities and cosplayers simply because they're famous or wearing a certain costume, or think it's somehow not that bad because they're nerds. It's never okay. I mean, this has been a big issue in the cosplay community, especially. Lexi Const responded, I was going to say, unfortunately, this is con behavior and it's gross. KL Albayati responded to her, unfortunately, I think many people believed the bookish community would be better than that because books, in theory, make people empathetic, and because romance in particular is so female-oriented. Easy to forget sometimes that women can easily be predatory and problematic like men. Red Jilt 55 added, 8 years ago, I got into it with a bunch of other women in a fan group on Facebook because I dared argue that no one should lick the attractive male author's face during a book signing.
Girl, me too. What? There's no possible way. There's no possible way to make that not weird. They're like, even furries are like, yo, what, like, give me some space. Lick his face. What is it, like a meme from the book? Like, how do you get to that place? Like, I don't want to lick anybody's face. I have a wife. I still would be like, I have to, like, hey, warning. Be approached. I'm going to give you the old Scooby-Doo. What the fuck? God damn.
I also got ignored for suggesting that women should not go up to a strange man and run their fingers through his hair without permission. This has been a problem for a long time now, almost like people in general don't understand consent. There are so many TikToks, if you go look up Sinners and Stardust, of people simulating bedroom activities in public, not even in like a photo area or something. Like, I get it, you want to be funny, whatever. I know I, as a guest, would feel really uncomfortable if I were just walking around what's obviously the hotel lobby and see people doing stuff like this. Another person who was at the convention.
Dude, this is so not a unique moment. I knew it was going to be like this, but I swear I'm having fucking flashbacks to furries talking about this shit. Like, going well outside of their own communities to be like, we need to take a stance. I watched a whole video on this, actually, about the great furry schism between, like, gooners and non-gooner furries in the 80s. And this, like, it's a war that goes on in the dark streets of fur fandom or whatever the fuck. And, like, it is a serious issue that there's, like, furries who are just fucking perverts. They're just perverts. They have no other identifiable, like, personality traits than that they're freak sickos that want to walk around in fucking anonymity and do shit. Whereas, like, I don't know, other furries just have some sort of unique chemical composition to them that also, like, respects some of that freak shit, but, like, also the boundaries. And it caused a massive divide in their communities. Like serious. And, like, there was, like, people, I can't remember the whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. I might cover that at some point. Or if I can find it, I'll link it out. But basically, there was one guy who was like, no, furry, it's not about all the sex and wearing diapers. It's about the beauty you feel as a fox, a beautiful fox, run around with your hair in the wind, or you're an eagle soaring in the sky. You want to be a cute little mouse man and sit on somebody's foot. It's not about wearing diapers at the Regal Hotel and shitting in the lobby. No, it's not about walking up to random people and asking them to walk you like you're a dog. You can't do that. Oh, you ruined it for everybody. All I wanted to do was dress up as a pelican. I wanted to be Pelican Jim for just one weekend out of the year, and you took it from me. The other side, oh, your old ways are gone, old man. These days we shit our pants in the lobbies of hotels and spread rumors of ourselves eating out of dog food bowls. I spread that rumor to Channel 5 News, and then I did it. Oh God, no one wants to see that. Oh God, oh no.
Sinful Shelves says, y'all did that shit to Animus, and one of y'all asked my
crazy.
husband to do weird shit in the 5 minutes I was away from him at the ball, which I'm not disclosing for my husband's privacy, and I left halfway through. I can't imagine what else people did that hasn't even been brought up, but I'm so angry. To be clear too, this is not to take away from what happened to Animus. This is to say, y'all showed your asses, and I'm so upset for my husband, for Animus, and for anyone else who endured things they should not have had to endure. A Court of Books and Beasts says this: my partner went to stand in the corner and let me enjoy dancing with some other people. In that time, 3 women approached him, and one put her hands on him, and that's when he decided to join me again. Sis, lucky I didn't see it, or she would have caught these hands. I especially can't imagine going up to someone who isn't even engaging with people. I thought it was a universal sign of leave me alone when you're standing against a wall, not talking to anybody. She adds later, he was literally carrying my high heels in his hands during this, and yet someone thought it was appropriate to grope his chest. Lucky for her, we did not see her again. And tons of attendees are bringing up things that they saw. Author Lee Rivers says, Sinners was phenomenal and I loved meeting everyone. However, can we please respect an author's boundaries? I was groped multiple times at the ball. I was dragged away from my friends, and no matter how many times I said no, my words did nothing. As soon as I left, I couldn't stop crying. Please respect boundaries and consent. Read with Han Han said, I hope whoever was flashing authors and attendees their strap-on at Sinners and Stardust feels extremely embarrassed and uncomfortable right now scrolling threads, because
you remember that fucking murderous South African guy? He ran real quick on his fucking steel spring legs, right? And everyone was just like, you weren't born with the tools for the job, but you got it done. And he threw all that away so he could shoot his wife to death. I don't know why I'm adding that, but I just am going to. This is that for perverts. I wasn't born with a dick, but goddamn it, I put one on and harmed people with it. Wow! You think in pervert circles they have the same conversation? Or Bill Burr bit? He has spring legs. It's like, yeah, she was the biggest pervert there, but everybody could be that big of a pervert if they could just get their dick out of a box. If I could just buy a giant purple strap on, become the biggest pervert at the fucking pervert convention. Like, she was born a lady. She had to overcome a lot. Had to overcome so much to become a mall parking lot flasher. I don't know how to react to this. This is the craziest sequence of facts and ideas I've heard in a while.
What the actual F? I hope we get a name so we can all collectively block you. Fantasy Rants says, we can talk about Sinners and Stardust and say people have no home training and no boundaries and consent was learned as children, but genuinely, I need you to be more outraged that multiple people were sexually assaulted. Multiple people were sexually assaulted. This is horrifying. It's not a shake your head and gasp moment. A man had a tracker placed.
Yeah, like this is how I deal with traumatic. This is actually fucked up. I mean, if you want to just experience this entire video and be like aghast in silence, please. I'm trying to. I'm spoonful of sugaring some of the most shocking things I've ever fucking heard in my life right now.
Based on him after being groped by multiple people. Authors were kissed and groped by multiple people. My Name is Marines says, if we're going to have the conversation about consent and the sexual harassment that reportedly happened this weekend at Sinners and Stardust, I'd like to draw the line.
Like, unironically, I was thinking about making one of these dark romance books as a like subscriber thing. Because I have like this new mic that I got. It's really good for doing like ASMR typing. I know that because I had it on and I set it down next to the keyboard. I was like, oh, that's very pleasant. And so I thought it'd be funny or like a neat thing to see if I could write one of those fucking porno books on stream without breaking TOS, because they're kind of corny and formulaic, and it would be like a fun exercise. And now I'm like, I get it. You know, you're like, well, I could buy that dress, but I wouldn't want anyone to like try to, assault me if I wore it. And it's like, oh my, is this the like, I would put on makeup because I think I would look good, but I don't want anyone to think I'm a whore. Like I'm feeling as a literal author that I kind of get it. Like, it's not 100%, but like it was very theoretical up until this moment.
all the way back to summoning book talk comment sections, harassing hockey players, and recommending spicy books to minors, because so many of these conversations get shut down by the community at large, and the inability to respect boundaries and distinguish fact from fiction is not unexpected outcome. So if you're unaware, the summoning book talk comment, obviously, is found pretty much on TikTok. Primarily, it's being used to harass people. For example, with all the hockey romance that has been coming out in the last few years, there would be an attractive hockey player and they'd say summoning book talk, and their comment sections would be flooded with people making really inappropriate comments. Even on posts that include their...
Oh my God, Tyler's achieving empathy over sympathy. I feel like iDubbbz right now. I've become a person. I'm actually shocked. This is like I know I'm laughing. This is actually like I'm shocked. This is how I react when I'm kind of like overloaded a bit.
Their wives and children, which is a choice. We can see in the screenshot that the well-read nurse posted that this woman in particular was probably seen the most out of all the inappropriate behavior. The well-read nurse says, being at a romance book conference is not an excuse to sexually assault people. Showing off sex toys to unsuspecting humans is sexual assault. So you can see
Demon Mama reference.
That the woman in this video has a strap on under
her. Remember when we were talking about Demon Mama a year ago? And people were like, no, showing sex toys to a kid is not that big of a deal. And then it's just like adult women like from any other world are all just in vociferous agreement. No, actually just showing off sex toys to people unexpectedly is just an act of sexual assault. Like, thank you. Sometimes you start feeling crazy if you spend too much time in the fucking like online political sphere because not because of like the politics, but because of the shocking amount of like sex crimes that are happening at any given moment between people. The fuck?
Her ball gown, and she's opening her ball gown and showing it to people. You can find other videos of her where people were putting it in their mouths. She was poking people with it, taking it out in photos when no one else in the photo was aware of it. So kind of like photobombing people with it. Crazy behavior. Before she deleted her threads and her Instagram, she did post an apology, which people are saying is bullshit. So Jilly reads the...
Did we get a Lolo? We got a Lolo here.
Perpetrator with a strap on posted her apology. Here to hold myself accountable. I am deeply, deeply sorry from the bottom of my heart to anyone who I made uncomfortable or hurt at the ball.
Damn, it is a Lolo apology. I understand I made people uncomfortable.
I really truly was not thinking clearly, and I was ignorant to the fact that it would hurt some. Something I thought was just harmless fun, where a lot of others did as well, would not be viewed the same as everyone else. It will never happen again. Being human, we make mistakes and we learn from them. I promise this was a teaching moment. It was in no way me trying to be malicious, but I see that it was. I did not mean to be that person in any way, shape, or form, and I hate that I did that to anyone attending the dance. Please forgive me. I cannot say how sorry I am enough. Almost immediately, people started responding. Arissa Lim, 66, said, I'm confused how and why you thought these behaviors would be okay in the first place. Like, it's sexual harassment. I just want to know, what kind of life do you live that you think...
No, I agree. This is the thing. This is where people got like lost out. And like, it's the same as the Lolo apology. You guys noticing the pattern? You're not repeating specific things like that. You have to say like what you did, right? Like, because if you don't, it really does diminish what you did, right? if you're like, I ran over 10 people with the school bus, you can't go like, I understand that I was driving incorrectly. Do you know, you like the vibe? So like, you kind of do have to share what you did and why you did it. And then you got to take your licks. You got to explain yourself. Otherwise, yeah, you just kind of disappear with what you have intact. Because unironically, like there's apologies you can do in this space where people will let you come back. I'm not even fucking kidding you. Like people will get over it, and maybe some of them won't, but people will like let you back. And like if you act right because you learned what you did, people will fucking forgive you for shit. I'm dead fucking serious.
It's appropriate to whip out sex toys in public. I would hope that everyone knows that that's unacceptable. Love Like Whiskey points out, okay, so we already have one admission from one of the women who harassed multiple guests. Apparently she was wearing a strap-on and pulled her dress up to flash others, while pictures of their reactions were taken without their consent. She also happened to be a volunteer for the event. Event volunteers are supposed to be responsible for making people feel safe and fun. They're not supposed to be responsible for sexually harassing people. I don't even have words. And yeah, I would expect that, at minimum, the volunteers should have been instructed to report any questionable behavior they saw. I can understand not confronting it yourself if you're uncomfortable, but going to report it to one of the people running the event or security or something. Jenna Louise Skinner, author, asks, have the organizers of Sinners and Stardust said anything about all of this yet? I realize they're not responsible for the bad behavior of attendees, but they should at least address it. And Lexi Reads Dark's book posts screenshots from Sinners and Stardust's Instagram. I will say, I have seen some complaints that this apology is not very accessible, and I do agree this text is really hard to read. I'm not sure if you can see it at this size, but full size, you can tell that it has like two shadows, a red shadow and a black shadow, like veering off on opposite sides, which gives it, in my opinion, kind of an optical illusion type feel. But the convention's apology says the following. We are endlessly grateful to every single one of you who joined us for Sinners and Stardust, those who respected the heart of this community by asking for consent and honoring personal space. Our mission with Sinners and Stardust has always been to create something rare, a space where the dark romance community can feel safe, celebrated, and free to share their love of the stories that move us most. We need to be absolutely clear. Safety, security, and consent are not just values, they're non-negotiable. No is a complete sentence. Our authors, narrators, vendors, influencers, artists, and special guests are not just names on a book cover or faces on your screen. They are people. Human beings who deserve the same dignity, safety, and respect as every attendee. They give their time, talent, and energy to this community, and in return, we expect every single person in attendance to treat them with the respect they deserve. Moving forward, the following changes will be in place at all Sinners and Stardust events. Masks. Attendees are no longer allowed to wear full masks to any part of our event. No exceptions. And then they list an exception.
Medical masks for health and safety reasons are permitted.
Medical masks for health and safety are permitted. Entertainment. Entertainment will continue, but roaming interactive entertainers will no longer be a part of the ball. And I really agree with this. You can see a lot of TikTok videos where there was a guy dressed as Pyramid Head going around. There was another guy dressed as a Duskwalker, which is from the Duskwalker Brides series by Opal Rain. Like, I saw several.
Okay, that's fine as a cosplayer, but why is he an entertainer? What does that mean? Do they mean like a sex worker type entertainer, like for stripping and stuff? Because that's otherwise a cosplayer's not an entertainer. I don't think it's maybe necessarily that you can't have masks on at the convention. I think that should be like in certain areas. You can usually do that. Always look to the cosplay community. If you want to do anything with dress up, the cosplay community knows. You can definitely have masks at a convention, and you can definitely have them on the floor. It's really about how you make sure people conduct themselves while they're wearing the masks. Because trust me, otherwise horror conventions would literally not work because everybody's wearing their fucking, authentic 1971 fucking Michael Y, whatever the fuck, But yeah, the entertainment, if there's a blurred line between who is and isn't, maybe like, I don't know, I'll let her
videos of people like rubbing on his body. Obviously there's no evidence in the video whether or not he was asked for consent. I'm hoping he was. I think it just puts them at risk not to be in a specific photo area with volunteers monitoring the situation.
Yes.
So their message continues.
Yeah. You shouldn't create a situation where there's a blurred line between what is and isn't appropriate too, right? So if there's like somebody who's like, I'm here to get photographed and I'm selling photographs of myself with people, then you kind of like have them ready and then you walk them to in front of the photograph area, so that they're not getting photographed when they're not supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds like crazy, but like sometimes like child stars or something will come out, or people that are a little bit crowd shy, because it's like, oh, hey, I want to get my picture taken with like the little demon kid, whatever, from this movie that came out 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, he's like 17 now, but like whatever. And he's, hi everybody, I'm the creep. But you don't want that kid like getting fucking glomped on and shit, and child actors is their own whole thing. And then just for anyone else, like a professional lady, like who are you? Like she was, girl 3 in this movie that everyone fucking loves for some reason at this convention. And she's just here because people really want her to be here, but it's not necessarily her scene, but she does want to come in and be nice to the fans. She's going to take her pictures for 2 hours and go. You kind of take her in, put her in the photo area, have everybody ready for the line. She's walking and you can shoot, but you wouldn't want to have like any sort of messed up situation where she can kind of like get dragged in and be uncomfortable. Like, hey, I know you guys want to do photos and stuff, but like, I have shit to do. I've already got my 3 hours for the day. I'm sort of paid to be here. I'm not here just for like as a volunteer. So like, if you're not respecting my money and my time, then you're not really respecting me, which is like a fair trade-off to make. You know what I'm saying?
Safety for our guests. Authors, narrators, vendors, their assistants, our influencers, and special guests will now have a secure, dedicated area during the ball with their own security. They may move freely between areas, but all attendees are not permitted in their area under any circumstances. If an attendee is caught trying to go into their secured space, they will be immediately removed and banned from future.
Yeah, that's something you shouldn't even have to say. Every event with celebrities or special guests like that has green rooms for this. That's called a green room. There's a green. That's the green room. Okay. Talent goes to the green room or the VIP special area or whatever, the blue room, however you want to call it. Guest VIP meet. That is all. That's so established. That is such an established thing that you had to have not studied any other conventions to have to be correcting that. That's actually crazy.
So a lot of people are calling for the perpetrators to be named. Rebecca Thorne's Writes says, this Sinners and Stardust BS is incredibly eye-opening, but even worse is that so many authors aren't even surprised by it. The moment social media gave authors direct connection to their readers was the moment these boundaries began to blur. It's now expected that authors have to write a good book, but also engage with readers, answer questions, respond to DMs, make videos, etc., etc. This can be wonderful, but it's also god-awful. If this shitty thing had to happen, I hope that it at least opens up a discussion about what authors are obligated to do for readers, because in the past, it was, write a good book. Now, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, Adorabelle makes this thing. This is the issue with not recognizing that women can also be predators and not just to children. It's always played as a joke instead of the sexual assault it is. It's very much like a comical thing. And it is the case. I mean, it's a little... She didn't read it, which shout out Taylor Rose for not reading it, but there was a bit of a misandrist comment up here where someone was like, yeah, why are women acting like men? And it's like, I know, I get the sentiment, and I'm not saying that the person's like actually like bad or anything. But the thing is women aren't acting like men. Women are acting like women. And a lot of women don't want to make that introspective leap that just because someone else victimizes people doesn't mean that they can't too.
Rebecca continues, I want to clarify. I've been exceedingly lucky with my readers. They show up at my events and are genuinely the coolest people. But I like to talk about the industry at large, and I've heard the readers who grumble when big name author cuts a signing line short. I know you want your book signed, but that author may literally have not eaten half a day.
I'll say even like, I know that you're convincing the other people. It's no, if do no, when no is a like full sentence, it means kind of generally like, hey, keep your disappointment to yourself a little bit. Maybe whine about it online. And it's like, if someone's fucking too tired to talk to people, trust me, if they break it off, you're not going to get the best fucking convo either. It's not like they're going to be not tired on you. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, whoa, well, shit, I didn't realize fucking Susan's here. Let's get the band back going on. Come on. I got 2 more hours of energy. You just get worn out, then you're just done.
This kind of stuff happens at pretty much every type of convention ever hosted. And while we like to think that people can be adults, some people cannot, especially when there's alcohol involved. The Literary Bee posted,
oh yeah, if they were drinking, I was like, that was the last thing I was thinking of, is there any alcohol? Well, I was a bouncer, right? The guy like throw people out of the bars and shit, and I get groped all the fucking time while I'm letting people out because people just touch your fucking dick. I've just been like, it's fucking goddamn it. You can't even see who does it because like 800 people going past and someone's gonna boink. Motherfucker, dude.
Ray Davinar posted this screenshot from a conversation she had on Facebook. I absolutely love the dedicated area, not just for added security, but also so I can find and speak with other authors safely and freely, which was admittedly difficult with everyone being in the same area. So this is her comment on the update from the convention itself, but on the Facebook post. And she censored the name, but someone responded, I totally understand what you're saying. As an attendee, I love going to signing events to meet the authors and other attendees, of course, but the authors are the real reason. We stand in your lines for however long, and then finally it's our turn, and we get the 1 to 2 minutes or so while you're signing whatever to say thank you or what you do to bring so much joy to our lives. What I see happening is 2 separate parties going on simultaneously. Authors and everyone with them, and everyone else who can be in this VIP area, and the attendees looking on wishing to how they could have the chance to interact with their favorite authors in this fun environment. You don't know them though. My best memories from author events of these types of closing out type parties is the time with authors. That is now over. No one's going to want to come out of the VIP area to mingle after this because of what has happened, but also for exactly what you said above. You've literally written what is going to happen. I don't know why you feel entitled to someone's time, even if they are.
It's kind of weird because it's like, you can do the VIP thing. There's no, if you like really want to meet the author, you could just pay for the VIP to like talk to them. Like unironically, you kind of have to do that too. I barely have time to talk to everybody and I'm not famous. Like I really have to hammer that home. Like when you see the actual fucking like celebrity authors even show up, like they're bogged. So it's like, yeah, you know what? There's probably 10 or 15 of you that want to pay like $300 a person to come and hang out and talk with me for 2 hours. Okay, we'll do that. Cause whatever the fuck. And if you really want to do it, then just fucking shell out the fucking few $100 or the few $1,000. Do you know what I mean? Like how really like valuable do you think their time is? Because they don't know you. It's, you know what I mean? And so it's like everyone else gets to see him.
Are quote unquote a celebrity. The behavior of the few individuals responsible for this is disgusting, and some of it warrants legal ramifications, I'm sure. But the other 99% of the readers with respectful interactions who would never do anything to cross those lines are the ones being punished for their actions, and that just sucks. If I attend SNS next year, I definitely have no interest in a higher price ticket, which I always try to get.
See, that's like sus language, because you're not being punished for anything. This is like everyone agrees. This is what's best for the person that you think you care about. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm being punished because I can't see my kid. It's like, you weren't feeding your kid. It's better for your kid for you not to be around him. Like, yeah, but I feel like I'm being punished. Like, well, maybe in this case you are. But like, no, like the author's like, hey, I don't have time enough for everybody. And I would feel safer if there's like an area where I can kind of control the amount of people that can touch me at once. Because it seems like a lot of you want to touch me, and I really don't want to touch any of you. Or if I want to touch like 5 of you, I want to be able to touch just 5 of you. Like, I want to have like a lot of control over the physical contact happening to me at any given time. And then most people go like, oh, that's not only reasonable, I would want that. You know? But then one person's like, I don't think I like that, and I feel like I'm being punished. Is like, I think I might be keeping you from getting punished because you sound a little rapey right now. That you're coming off a little transgressive about people's personal space, like in a bad way. You know what I mean?
Perks, but why do I need to do that? I can only meet with authors at their signing tables anyway, and I can do that with the lowest price ticket option. I like how she's acting that it was only 1 or 2 people at the event doing things like this when multiple people have come forward saying that they were being assaulted by groups of attendees. Ray Davenor responded, I hear you, but respectfully, you said it yourself. You had access to the authors during the signing days, hours upon hours of it. Once the ball hits, once our jobs are over, we deserve to have a chance to relax and unwind in a safe, designated area that's free from interactions from members of the public. If we choose to. Because that's the thing. Authors are now freely allowed to choose when and how we interact with readers of the ball, which is a choice that was denied to us before. This way we have one. And I agree, it seems like a lot of authors go to these events specifically because other authors they know are also attending. Like the implication that they're supposed to work the entire convention and then never get time to themselves is frankly troubling.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that either. Like, people get tired. This is performance to be around people. Like, you know that. Like, you got to go be around your family and shit, and you're like, fuck, I'm finally away from my mom. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing to be around fans or even just people in general you have to talk to. Like, if you're a fucking, a barista, you gotta talk to all these fucking assholes coming in asking for fucking diet lattes and shit. When you have a second, you're like, fucking thank God. Just give me like 5 seconds away from talking to customers. You might love your job. You might be you love the fucking people that come in. They're like, oh no, they're great. But like, you have to be on it. You're smiling or being attentive. You have to pay attention. You have to listen because you are working. And then it tires you the fuck out because you're like working, you know, and then you just need a fucking break. Get the fuck away from me. And you come back again in another 15 minutes or so.
So Leela Gray Romance kind of summarized everything that happened at Sinners and Stardust. 99% of the weekend, pure smutty joy and chaos. But the 1%, ugly, dangerous, heartbreaking, and it needs to be talked about. Lists of incidents, part 1. Authors were groped, dragged from friends, cornered, and left in tears. A male model had an AirTag slipped into his pants. Someone looked under an author's bathroom stall and waited outside. This isn't fans got too excited. This is...
Dude, the AirTag thing is crazy. An AirTag? Like, that's the Apple track, which, by the way, Apple, what the fuck? It's an Apple GPS tracking device. Someone slipped it into their fucking pants so they could follow them after the convention. That is rapist behavior. That's not even like, there is no other way to see that. You're a stalker and possibly a rapist. If I found out somebody had done that to my wife, I would assume like, oh shit, we have to like, we have to go outside and see if there's any cars that we don't recognize. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, we're in a PvP zone. Bro, you got to name names, bro. You have to notify the police. We're past. I think people should know who these people are. Like, yes, and they are called the fucking authorities, Darlene. What the? I can't. I'm shocked. Oh my God.
Harassment. This is assault. Volunteers flashing people in strap-ons and photos taken of reactions without consent. Readers being rude to volunteers and each other. My pre-order bag stolen. Bold but gross. 2 readers snapped at my husband while he manned my table. And yes, some authors and spouses whispering, sulking about lines. The fallout is already here. No masks, no roaming entertainers, no attendee access to authors, vendors, and influencers. But some pluses are security details for authors, smaller events, higher ticket and book prices, permanent bans for harassment, stalking, and assault. So we can see that this is the video that Jilly Reads posted herself.
Yes, baby, yes.
It's like when this is a long.
Oh my god. Okay, so just to describe what was, I think, behind the blur. I think someone had suction cupped a male genitalia sex toy to a wall in a public space and was filleting it. I'm not rewinding, forcing my brain not to do that because no one needs to know more information, but holy fuck.
Interesting choice to do any of this in the first place.
Yeah, that girl is just walking around with a gigantic, of course it's black, dildo.
Post about it. But there are tons of TikToks showing how good the event was.
Oh, there's the Pyramid Head guy. No safe words. I don't know about that. I don't know about the guy on the stilts with a fucking gas mask on with a shirt that says no safe words. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? What? I think the Pyramid Head guy is a professional cosplayer. I think I've seen that Pyramid Head guy before.
It looks like people were having fun. If you're wondering why I didn't include any other videos or photos or anything, I didn't really want to call out people who were just enjoying themselves. And also there were like dancers in underwear and a lot of the videos featured the strap-on bandit. So, I mean, you can go on TikTok and look. People are having the time of their lives, but it is such a shame that people finally get the kinds of...
I think the guy on the stilts with the no safe word shirt being included in the good parts montage is a dark... That's a dark indictment of this crowd. Wow. What the fuck?
Events that they are asking for and are advertised as being able to receive. And then some people being gross really put a damper on it for A, the people who attended, and B, future attendees. I am surprised that there wasn't a VIP area beforehand. Personally, I've only been to anime conventions before, but I definitely remember there being like guarded VIP rooms for the celebrities that were attending. What a shame.
Yeah.
And because of the actions of a few people.
Yeah, she's only been an attendee, and even she yeah, it's day one stuff. Like day one stuff, bro. Come on.
You know, I'm sure some of these authors are never going to attend events publicly again, or at least not attend conventions where this sort of activity is happening. Because I remember the first time I went to a convention, I wasn't really into voice actors in particular, but I recognized Vic Mignogna's name on the program, and I was so excited. And then I found out it was like $100 even to shake his hand.
Man, I mean, you can't not end with a Vic Mignogna story. Fuck, dude.
That's all I have for now. I will see you next time.
Yeah, good video, but like, bro. Yo, turn this content warning off because I'm giving myself a headache. Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside.